Donnybrook is made possible by the support of the Betsy and Thomas Patterson Foundation and the members of 9PBS.
Well, thanks for joining us for this edition of Donnybrook. Great to have you with us, and a special guest for next up, talk to Dr. Art McCoy, the retiring superintendent from the Jennings School District, who's going to take on the task of creating a larger workforce in the greater St. Louis area at the behest of the Regional Business Council. So, Dr. McCoy, let's meet the panelists, starting with the news director for the Big 550 KTRS and the co-host of the Jennifer and Wendy Show, Wendy Weiss, along with Mr. Joe Holloman, sitting in for the vacationing Bill McClellan. Joe, of course, the great columnist for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. And we welcome Ray Hartman, one of our founders, who writes for rawstory.com, the Riverfront Times, and he hosts his own show weeknights on KTRS. And we've got Alvin Reed with us from the St. Louis American and more. And we'll just kick things off.
Dr. McCoy, one of the things I hear, and it irritates me, I'll be quite simple about it, is in discussions about, future for black young people, black kids, it's just like, oh, you got to get the black kids into the trades. You got to get the black kids into the trades. And I've thought, like, well, how about we get black kids into college? And, it's like, well, they can't do that. And I'm wary of setting the goal not as high as it could be. So what are your thoughts on that?
I love it. I love what you're saying. It's a both and it's not an either or. So I'm an educator, and I tell people college is a means to an end. Education is a means to an end towards a living wage and a career and a life full of happiness and productivity. So don't get confused with the means for the end. So what we're doing is saying we want to have multiple on-ramps and multiple off-ramps. The programs we're creating gets a kid in the door without a college degree, but with a certificate. But then it requires that the corporations continue to invest using their tuition reimbursement for the completion of a 4-year degree and sometimes a master's degree. So they're not stopping with this job. They're getting on a career ladder. And that ladder then gives you the happiness, the power to actually have happiness and the pursuit of happiness and liberty that we want. So it's a both and. Now, some people in many of the jobs will not require a degree. Over 50% in technology won't require a bachelor's degree. So what we want to do is get people to the right opportunities that give them the skills, the post-secondary skills that gets them on a pathway. So my secret sauce is I pushed this into the junior year of high school, where I literally had my high schools go on an 8-block schedule, 4-period schedule. Kids got the 24 required credits by the time they were done with their junior year. And so because if you take 8 classes a year and it's only 24 credits, that's 6 a year. Well, we did 8 a year, so they can get 32 credits. They had a whole year that allowed them to get work experience and college credit experiences. So every one of our kids could get 60 college credit hours at no cost due to the taxpayer dollars, or a year worth of insight and job experience making $20 or more an hour. And that's the start. It's not the finish. So I agree. We need to look at higher education and get people on career ladders that then have industries support the continuation of the degree. That will also eliminate college debt. The debt is in the trillions, as we know, multiple trillions. And if you get the job pathway first and then have a focus for your career, you won't be a degree changer. And that's the goal, to be smarter, to go smart and create stars.
I have a question that sort of dovetails off of Alvin's that had to do with trades. And certainly the marginalization is not a good idea. But was there a period in time in education, let's say 10, 15 years ago, where nobody was being told to go into trades and you must go to college and you must build up this debt, which became one of the offshoots of it? And so when I talk to people I know who are plumbers, electricians, they're like, there aren't any around, Joe. So I would hate to see it marginalized, but was there a time when success in education meant going to college and these jobs that are important and well-paying and can allow people to build up money to start their, you can own a plumbing company, but it helps to be a plumber first. Do you think there's at least a recognition that the trades are not some embarrassing profession to get into?
Oh, yes, by all means. All right, so you make a valid point. I'm on the board of Construction Forum, and we've been working on rebranding the names of it so that people won't have that old stigma of the trade schools. If you recall, back in the 70s and 80s, there were trade schools, Northwest and so forth, and that left the stigma of, okay, you're just going to be a plumber. Well, the fact is, plumbers and carpenters get paid more than entry-level teachers, social workers, and even attorneys in many cases. And so what we have forced is the teaching of micro enterprises and small business ownership so that the youth does not stop with the job as a plumber, but that they become a business owner, that they don't stop with the job as a carpenter, but that they get the skills to have an MBA eventually, or to manage a business and manage people and have leadership skills. This is what I've coined as power skills. And so ultimately, when we talk about the career pathway, you want to teach people how to get a job, how to keep a job, how to get a promotion, and then how to own the job, how to multiply it and be a multiply factor for your family, your street, your block, your community. And so really that is what we're teaching, the notions of a career ladder and power skills. Now, let's not get it twisted or confused. There are a lot of people who know that are really, to be frank, white, male, and have family members who are plumbers, carpenters, and contractors and owners of their own small businesses. And then they teach their young children, hey, take this job. It's not the start, or it's not the finish, it's the starting place. And then you're going to take over my business as a contractor, finishing people's basements and so forth. That's what we're trying to teach people that are in marginalized communities, about the ownership and the voice that you have and the power that you have to get a skill and then make it durable to anything that you're going to. Even if you don't stay a carpenter, you could become an advanced manufacturer, then work for Boeing, and then ultimately have that durable skill of leadership, of self-initiative, of really pushing through life skill and textbook skill. So it's a both and. We have to remarket the terms because most people don't think of all that when they hear the word trades. That's the issue.
Right.